And welcome back to this episode of Beerfield Fantasy Football Shots. I am Christopher Hopper at Hop BFF, back in the hosting chair today with you. As we're going to go over some news for Monday, August 28th, 2017. Just want to let you guys know about a little change to the format of these episodes. We were doing news in a special segment for each one. So from now on, we're going to go news in one episode, special segment in another episode. We want to make sure that you guys get the information you want without the extra bullcrap in the way. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. You can check out the Beerfield Fantasy Football Podcast for more in-depth analysis and news on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, mail order podcast host, whatever you want to do. We're there for you. We're there to help out. You can DM the show. You can follow my co-host at Nick Sparts and at ThurryBFF, also on Twitter. So let's get into some news. Josh McCown has been named the starting Jets quarterback. This is great news for Jets pass catchers, at least until week 4 when McCown gets injured and Christian Hackenberg has to come in, essentially killing everybody's value. But for now, Josh McCown's starting, so good news for Darius Stewart, ASJ if he hangs around that long, possibly Matt Forte, Bilal Powell, and definitely Robbie Anderson. For the Jaguars, Leonard Fournette has ramped up his practice participation in recent days, and he'll be ready for week 1, which kind of confirms what we've been speculating on the show the whole time, that they were just kind of keeping him bubble-wrapped until week 1 came around. So he should be locked and loaded, ready to go, and ready to get some work in. One thing to be aware of here is that he hasn't had the training camp prep, so he is still going to be getting acclimated to the NFL game. So if he starts out a little slow the first few games, that's probably to be expected. Lions tight end Eric Ebron has returned to the Lions practice. He still needs 6 more soft tissue injuries to fill his yearly quota, however. But until then, load him up, hope for the breakout, just like the year before that and the year before that, until he rolls another ankle. Confirming what we already knew, Bears wide receiver Cam Meredith does have a torn ACL. They did find some additional structural damage with the knee as well, so we will undergo some additional testing here in the next few days to determine the exact severity of that. Ben McAdoo is hopeful that Odell Beckham will be ready to go for week 1. My thoughts, he will be fine. This has been my thoughts since the injury. Everybody's kind of been saying, yeah, he's going to play week 1. The media has kind of been spinning it to, well, maybe he will, maybe he won't. But until that, until they come out and officially say it, just enjoy taking him at the end of the first round. I got him at pick 9 and pick 10 over the weekend, so really happy about that. Keeping it with the Giants, Brandon Marshall returned to practice Monday. That was after a little bit of a shoulder issue, so he was expected to be fine. It was minor, and he will be. Don't expect him to play Thursday, as most starters will not. The Redskins are still trying to trade Matt Jones. Shockingly, they haven't found a team that's looking to increase their offensive fumble count, so good luck with that, guys. But he doesn't really have any fantasy value at all, and if you still own him in Dynasty, I would stop. Colts coach Chuck Pagano was cryptic on the status of Andrew Luck's shoulder. I'm not really sure if this part's news because we've seen this story every day for the entire offseason. But to add on to that a little bit, the Indy Star's Zach Kiefer believes he will miss week 1 barring a miraculous turn of events. Well, me too. Demaryius Thomas did not practice with a groin issue, so continue to monitor this. I don't expect it to cost him week 1. He's not going to play Thursday, but most starters will not play week 4 of the preseason. So just keep an eye on that, but I expect him to be okay. Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell plans to report to the Steelers on Friday, as was first tweeted out last week, so that's still likely going to happen. The Miami Herald's Barry Jackson states that the front office is refuting rumors that they're shopping Jarvis Landry. This is following some rumors over the weekend that they were shopping Jarvis Landry. Situation with Jarvis Landry, he does not have a contract. They have not worked out an extension with him yet. So this could be a situation of trying to get something before they don't re-sign a guy, but that remains to be seen. As it is, Devonta Parker is quickly shooting up draft boards. He seems to be Jay Cutler's favorite target right now, so shop Landry with caution. John Harbaugh has promised that Joe Flacco will be ready for week 1. Probably going to be a bit slow to start off as he hasn't gotten reps in with the rest of the offense. Bear with it, but this is good news for Ravens pass catchers if he doesn't miss time. Devonta Freeman will return to practice on Monday, being cleared from the concussion protocol. However, he, like most other starters in the league, won't play Thursday. Don't read too much into that. He should be ready to go for week 1. For Dynasty news, Cowboys rookie Ryan Switzer will see his first action Thursday. So if you want to get a look at him, that's the time to do it. Don't know if he's more than a watch list right now. He may be worked in, though, at some point. Jags rookie Dede Westbrook is dealing with a core injury, but he should return to practice soon. So Dede Westbrook's a guy that really flashed in preseason. Could have potentially came out as a slot guy or even the number 2 for the Jaguars, but he's dealing with injury much like his cohorts Marquise Lee and Alan Hearns have. So that job's still up for grabs. Dede Westbrook still has a tremendous amount of talent, though, so don't back off him as a late-round flyer. With the Cowboys, Rico Gathers could be ticketed for hours. He still fights concussion issues. So Rico Gathers, big monstrous target, flashed a little bit in week 1, then went out hurt and hasn't been heard from since. I think he went out hurt midway through week 2. So redraft, he has no value, and I think he still retains his dynasty value for now. Speaking of retaining dynasty value, but in this case not retaining dynasty value, Bucs running back Jeremy McNichols will be fighting for his roster spot on Thursday and could be out with another bad showing per Greg Auman of the Tampa Bay Times. So Jeremy McNichols was a guy that we really liked coming into the draft. He showed good hands, showed some pass catching chops and some ability in space, but that hasn't really translated to the NFL game. He's had fumbling problems. He's had some pass protection issues. Not a good way to make it. So he's supposed to get a big look on Thursday to see if they even want to keep him or not. And with the Lions, Matt Stafford actually breaking while I was writing up this news, they've signed him to a 5-year deal to make him the highest paid player in NFL history. So your dynasty Stafford stock is apparently pretty safe. Kenny Golladay becomes safer with Stafford as his quarterback, as well as anything Lions involved. So sounds like Stafford's going to be there for a while. In backup quarterback news, Broncos backup quarterback Paxton Lynch will miss a few weeks with a shoulder sprain. So they're going to be shopping around for some options. So as I tweeted out earlier, Kaepernick supporters, get your pitchforks out. And Bryce Petty with the Jets is also dealing with a knee injury. So there's another team that could be looking for a backup quarterback, although their need is not as dire as Hackenberg should be backing up McCown. That's all we got in the way of news for you today. Be sure to check out the Top Shelf and Well episode, which will also be released today. Tomorrow, I believe Dan Thury will be back with you to spit some news. Once again, you can follow the show on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. Check out the podcast on iTunes, Google Play. Just search Beerfield Fantasy Football. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave some comments. Let us know how we're doing. We're going to continue to try and work this content out for you guys throughout the season, and hopefully it gets better as the year goes along. Thanks.